Hi, it's Simon. Yeah, this week's announcement of the new iPads and accessories for 2024 was hailed by Mr. Cook as the biggest day for iPad since its introduction. And well, whilst we did get some updated iPad Airs, some super thin new iPad Pros, even a new Apple Pencil, let's be honest, another round of iPads isn't particularly groundbreaking news. But here's the thing, I reckon it's what's hiding just under the surface of all these new product announcements that made this one-off Apple event really worth taking note of. So if you are an Apple user, let me show you what it all might mean for the future of how you use your Apple tech and give you a super quick breakdown of everything announced that I think is important in the 2024 iPad lineup. Intrigued? Well, I hope so. It's kind of the idea of this hook. The first takeaway here is that there are some surprising new ways Apple have actually made iPad more accessible to more people with this update. First, yes, we are getting new iPad Airs. Yeah, plural. Finally, a larger 13-inch model of the Air. And let's be honest, there are lots of people out there that will gratefully receive access to a larger form factor without having to shell out for an expensive Pro model that is just a ton of power they're not going to use. The new iPad Air graduates to the M2 chip as well, boasting 3 times the performance from the last one for you gamers out there, and it stays with the latest liquid retina display. And starting at $599 for the 11-inch and $799 for that new 13-inch model, it's keeping it at a reasonable price, I guess, for an iPad. And yeah, not much else changes on these, really. Same cameras and build. The only big difference from my perspective is the compatibility with the new Apple Pencil Pro. We'll talk about it in a minute. Now, before we jump into those big power moves from those iPad Pros, I really have to take a moment to talk about a big piece of under the radar news that was actually included in this event, and it's the reduction in price of the existing iPad 10th gen. That is down to $349. This is actually quite cool and more of a big deal than people might give credit to. I reviewed the 10th gen a few videos back on my iPad for Students video and actually found it to be a super usable and great option for most everyday users. It only works with the Apple Pencil USB-C, but that still magnetically docks to the iPad, without charging of course, and at $79, it means that you'll be just over $400 for the base model kit with the pencil, which I think is an amazing bit of kit for the money in 2024. Check out my iPad for Students guide video after this if you want. Okay, let's talk iPad Pro, because it's exciting. And here's the thing, whether you can afford one, want one or not, it's what the advancements in the new iPad Pro point towards that are most intriguing. In these unnervingly intelligent screens, they're like a window into the future of Apple. Well, let's face it, unless you are a 3D animator or creative power user, the M1 iPad Pro is plenty, but oh my, there are some exciting things to get excited about nonetheless. As Apple announced, we are not only going to push the limits of what we can do on an iPad, we are going to crush them. Okay, it's pretty direct metaphor with that one, right? But I guess it's cool to show quite how thin this thing is. In fact, it's the thinnest product ever from Apple, the same as the iPod Nano, if you remember that. I know what you're thinking. Oh, great. A 13-inch sheet of glass that's 5.3 millimeters thick, weighs next to nothing. Send me the repair bill. But Apple assures us it's as strong as the last version. Let's see, it's clear from initial hands-on responses from other creators, this thing is quite remarkable to hold, but that's not really the point here. For me, the big news is the combination of the new Tandem OLED display and the leap to the M4 chip that can enable these displays and form factor. Why is this significant? Well, it's what it promises for the coming Pro Apple devices across the lineup. And on that M4 chip, Apple didn't compare it to the M3 at all. And that's because it's probably not that much more powerful. The big news here is the M4 efficiency, better computational performance, heat management gains, and most importantly, this is a chip that can provide the same performance as M2 using half the power. So my personal hot take on this is that M4 is going to be the chip that enables Apple to create thinner and lighter form factors and massively improve battery life and efficiency in all its computing products. For starters, it makes the flagship feature of these new iPad Pros, the Ultra Retina XDR display, possible. Yeah, they are running out of names for stuff like this, right? But this is the first commercially available Tandem OLED display. That's a big deal. Essentially, an industry-recognized term for two OLED displays layered on top of each other to maximize brightness and performance. And wow, it looks super cool. A mind-blowing 1000 nits of brightness for both SDR and HDR, and 1600 nits of peak HDR brightness, blowing all other OLEDs out of the water. And in the other direction, the tech is likely going to have benefits like less risk of burn-in, and essentially, when it's turned down, we'll get better efficiency. As for the M4 chip, well, the repeated references to its top-of-the-line onboard neural engine, and the M4 seems to be built for AI performance. With 38 trillion operations per second, sounds impressive, making it the most powerful AI chip in any AI PC today, as they claimed. It is the biggest pointer to where Apple is going with AI and its platforms in the near future. See you at WWDC. And make sure to subscribe here too, since in my next video, I'll show you quite how far we've come and where we might be going with AI assistance on your phones. Productivity for less effort? Lovely. We saw some great examples of the M4's power in this way in the new Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro 2 apps for iPad 2. Those look spicy powerful, including how easy it is, for example, to isolate subjects from a background in Final Cut with just the click of a super cool AI button. Oh, and on the subject of these pros, a notable mention to some new aluminium lighter Magic keyboards to go with them. Will they actually make the difference to the carry weight? Yes, possibly, but still some serious dollars for them. But great to see that these are now coming even closer to a laptop experience if you are into that kind of thing with an iPad. So, before we talk about the major Apple Pencil news, should you buy a new iPad Pro? Well, whilst I haven't tried it personally yet, if you are a pre-M1 iPad Pro owner and want some new power and features, this seems a great time to move up, since it seems essentially built ready in advance of the new features surely coming to iPadOS 18 and WWDC 2024 with the M4 AI optimized chip. It seems like a great time to upgrade. Otherwise, it's expensive and those Airs look super promising. It's also nice to see that the front-facing camera is now on the landscape edge of both models, and a notable mention to this small but useful addition in the iPad Pro of that new True Tone adaptive flash, which will actually solve a lot of those scanner issues with shadows and make scanning documents, if you're a productivity user, much better. Finally, okay, but on price, I'm not so sure. It's $200 more now for the base model, but strangely a further $300 to choose the 13-inch version, where it seems there is no real difference other than screen size. And on the subject of iPad options, no mention yet of a new iPad mini, the new iPad I'm most hopeful for. Later in 2024, at least Tim Cook mentioned the mini. It's still around. Let me know your favourite option in the iPad options in the comments and why. Next, some quick news about my minimal iOS icon and cover packs and how Apple nearly ruined them. They also might be about to supercharge them with iOS 18, rumoured to be the biggest update ever. First, these are a designed set of custom icons and covers that complement that Apple aesthetic in simple black and white options, gradient options, and some colour gradient options that you can use to make your iPad look like this. But here's the thing. Apple recently updated iOS and iPadOS 17.4, and it messed with the transparent set we made that used the Apple shortcut colours to set the colour. So we smashed out a bunch of colourful versions for you too. So existing owners, make sure you jump back to your confirmation email and you'll be able to go access these new options. And if you are new, well, with the iOS 18 and iPadOS 18 updates rumoured, we could be about to get a whole new set of customization powers. And these work with shortcuts to create the icons. And I have a feeling that these options coming to Apple soon could even allow you to leave blank spaces, break the grid on the iPad, and truly create custom looks. Exciting. So go grab yourself a set at bettercreating.com via the link below. Channel a bit of Ditaram simplicity on your Surface. If you have a bit of time to use the Apple shortcuts, it can really look great. Check out my guide video on how to do it below. And yeah, happy designing. Right. The fun bit of iPad news, the release of the new Apple Pencil Pro. It looks fantastic, and it might not be for you. Let me explain. First, what's different to this other than name? Well, it's the same form factor as the second gen pencil, and actually, satisfyingly, it's the same price at $129, which seems in 2024 a much better deal than when it was first launched at that price. So nice. But is it a good deal? Well, the 3 brilliant new features will be certainly very welcome in the artistic and design community, and I think for note-taking and note-takers like me. Number 1 is Squeeze. We can now squeeze the pencil with haptic feedback to bring up a menu of multiple tools, for example, or in Procreate, use it to select layers and navigate without even touching the screen. But the best bit, you do this using feature number 2, barrel roll. They have added a new gyroscopic sensor on the barrel so that you turn the pencil or roll it in your fingers and you can rotate to choose the option that you want. Now that is cool, but this also unlocks a ton of new possibilities for virtual brushes and pen tips. This is a big one for digital artists since it will allow more rotational strokes or use the rotation to shape the brush. And the third big feature, well, this one's for everyone. Apple Pencil Pro finally now supports Find My. Thank the Lord, you will probably find it again when you lose it. Why might this not be for you and me? Well, look, I'm a big fan of the new Apple Pencil. In fact, I went ahead and ordered one immediately until I realized that it isn't backward compatible. Come on, Apple. So I'm going to need to buy a new iPad Air or iPad Pro to use it. That's disappointing and disappointingly clever sales tactics. The worst thing, the 2nd gen won't work with the new iPads either. Surely this should be included in an iOS update for older models, Apple. Let me know what you make of all this in the comments. The big takeaway here, though, is far more positive. It seems clear to me at least that the 2024 iPad lineup announcement isn't just about a new set of iPads. It's about what the tech behind them promises for the future of our personal computing in this new age of AI. We are perhaps on the edge of some serious shifts in how we work with tech. So if you want to get clued up with how to start simple with leveraging more AI in your daily work, start by watching this video next, or check out this one on how to make the most of your new iPad when you get it, old or new. Make sure to subscribe here by clicking my face. It'd be great if you left a comment, and I'll see you on the next one for more ideas, tools and tech. See ya.